When we looked at the dictionary, we saw that it was a craft of different experts like phonologists, morphologists, semanticists, stylisticians, grammarians, orthographers, and etymologists. Today, we want to get a peep into the work of morphologists. Welcome to this channel. I'm Salimalaji Buhari, and here on this particular channel, we look at use of English. Word formation processes in English. Simply how words are formed. First thing we need to look at is morphemes. A morpheme is the smallest unit in grammar. For example, unbendable. Un is a morpheme. Bend is another morpheme. And able is yet another morpheme. Morphemes can be either free morphemes or bound morphemes. If it's free, it means that it is independent, while bound morphemes are dependent on others. Unbendable. In this word, bend is a free morpheme because it is independent, it can stand on its own. While on, it's an affix that is added before the word, so it is a prefix and it is a bound morpheme. Able here, it's a suffix because it is added to the end of the word. Bendable. Here, able cannot stand on its own. It has to be attached to bend to make sense. So it is a bound morpheme. It cannot stand erect. Okay, so we have roots. Roots or the bases are the free morphemes that are not dependent on others. The stem is the last part of the word that the affix, the suffix is attached to. All right. Inflectional morphemes mark plurality, comparativeness, superlativeness, tenses, aspects, and third-person singular verbs. For example, s, ren, en, ing, es. When you add these morphemes to other words, something happens. These morphemes do not change the class of the word. If you add ren to child, it becomes children. The word doesn't change the word class. It's still a noun. If en is added to ox to make oxen, it does not change oxen to another word class. It remains a noun, just like ox, the first noun. We want to look at how words are formed. New words are born every day. These processes could be major processes such as affixation, compounding, and conversion, or they could be minor processes like replication, clipping, bending, and acronymy. Let's focus on affixation. Affixation is divided into prefixation and suffixation. Prefixation means to add suffixes or bound morphemes to the root. In these examples here, appoint is a root word. The dis is a prefix. So if you add dis to appoint, it becomes disappoint. Skirt, word. Many, prefix. Together, you have mini skirt. Prefixes have different types, and according to Quirk and Greenbaum, in 1973, there is a classification of prefixes into 9 different groups. 1. Negative prefixes. It means not. It has a negative marker. So if you add on to fair, it becomes unfair, something that is not fair. Disloyal. 2. Reversative prefixes. It means to reverse, the opposite. Examples: disappoint, disconnect, untie. Pejorative prefixes. Something done wrongly. Pseudopodia. Misconduct, maltreat. These are examples. 4. Prefixes of degree or size. It talks about the size or the degree of something. For example, supermarket, super, big. Supermarket. Hyperinflation, high, a high rate of inflation. Miniskirt, mini, small. 5. Prefixes of attitude. They mark attitude, counterproductive, anti-government. 6. Locative prefixes. Locative has to do with location. For example, subway, transplant. 7. Time and order. These These prefixes have to do with marking time and order. For example, ex, former, ex-president, post-colonial, for knowledge, before. Number, prefixes of number, they mark number, so to say. Mono, one, bi, two, tri, multi, many. The last type of prefix we call conversion. It converts to another word class. Endanger, enslave are examples. Let's look at suffixes. These are affixes that are added to the end of base words to form new words, which most likely belong to another part of speech. Adding an affix to the end of the word is called suffixation. Suffixes change the word class of the root, which most times are adjectives, nouns, verbs, and adverbs. I mentioned earlier that prefixes do not change the word class, but suffixes do. If you add ster to gang, is no longer gang. Gang is gangster. The suffix changed the word from one noun to another noun. Friendship, engineer, boyhood. These are examples of the type of suffix called noun to noun suffix. They change nouns to nouns. 2. If you have China and you add ese, of course the a will be removed and ese comes in. From China, which is a noun, it becomes Chinese, which is adjective. So these types of suffixes change nouns to adjectives or adjectives to nouns, and they are called noun to adjective or adjective to noun suffixes. The third class we have is the type of suffix that changes verbs to nouns. If you have a word like drive as a verb, you add r, it changes to driver. Employ, employee. Amaze, amazement. You see that these verbs have changed to nouns because we have verb to noun suffixes. The fourth class is adjective to noun suffixes. They change adjectives to nouns. For example, from sane, you have sanity. From happy, you have happiness. From sad, you have sadness. So these adjectives have changed to nouns. Remember, nouns are naming words. 4, 5. The fifth type of suffix. These markers are added to nouns and adjectives to form verbs. They are added to nouns and adjectives to form verbs. In a word that you have as laugh, examples you have simplify, laughed, popularize. The next type of suffix we have here, noun or verb to adjective suffixes. They take away the naming quality from nouns and make nouns adjectives or change verbs to adjectives. Example, child becomes childless. Cream becomes creamy. Music, a noun, becomes musical, an adjective. Are we together? Adverb suffixes. They make adjectives, adverbs, or nouns become adverbs. Remember, adverbs modify nouns or verbs. E.g., backwards, back becomes backwards. Money becomes moneywise. Happy becomes happily. After affixation, we move on to compounds. Compounds have two or more roots. The first one we treated had just one root and then either a prefix was added or a suffix was added. Compounds have two or more roots. The word compounding comes from the Latin expression that means put together. So it means that you're putting two words together. The type of compound we eventually get depends on the criteria you used for joining. Did you use word class or did you use the structure of the word for joining? Let's see. First, subject plus noun type of compound. It's a noun with another noun. Examples, earth and quake come together to form earthquake. Head and ache come together to form headache, and so on. You have the verb plus object. Object is the receiver of action, while subject is the performer of the action. So here we have verb plus object type of compound. The verb combines with a gerund or noun. Example, sightseeing. Seeing is a gerund. Sight has come together with seeing to form a word, sightseeing. Brainwashing, storytelling, taxpayer, etc. Verb plus adverbial type of compound. A noun or a verb combines with an adverbial to form a new word. Sunbather is one who bathes in the sun. A ride in the boat comes to form a boat ride. This is quite easy. We move on to verbless compounds. The verbs are ellipted to form new words. You have a girl that is a friend. Is a verb that is being ellipted here. So you remove the is and you just go on to girlfriend. Girl is a friend, moves to girlfriend. The tray has ash. Has here is the verb, and you have tray ash. Turn it around, you have ashtray. Okay, so that is the new word formed here. So the room is dark, and you change it, remove, ellipse the verb, and you have dark room, doorknob. Very simple. Let's move on to bahuvirihi type of compound. This denotes a referent by specifying a certain quality the referent possesses. Hunchback. The back has a hunch and it's called a hunchback. The belly is big like a pot and it's called a pot belly. The mouth is quite loud and it's called loud mouth. That's the type of compounding that has happened here. We move on to adjectival type of compounds. Adjectives describe verbs combined with noun objects or adverbs to form new words, like you're hyphenating the words. So you have breathtaking, jaw-breaking, law-abiding. Verbless types of compounds. You have the noun plus adjective or adjective plus adjective. For example, bitter and sweet come together to form bittersweet. Class and conscious come together to form class conscious. Can you have more examples in this case? Put them in the comment section. The last type of compounds we'll be talking about today is the verb compound. They are nouns that combine with verbs to form verbs. Let's see. Sleep could be a noun or it could be a verb, depends on how it is used. Walk could be a noun, it could be a verb, depends on how it is used. But here we are seeing that verbs are combining with nouns. So the first could be a noun, sleep, and walk, a verb, coming together to form sleep walk. Baby, of course, is a noun, and sit is a verb, coming together to form baby sit. Third major type of word formation called conversion. Conversion. Words are taken as they are and changed to other parts of speech without adding any affix. This is quite interesting. For example, email. Email can be used as a noun or it could be used as a verb. I will send you an email, noun. I will email you, verb. So let's look at the different types of conversion processes. First, we have the verb to noun conversion. Verb changed to noun. For example, her doubts have been cleared. Remember I said doubts, not doubts. The B is silent, right? Her doubts have been cleared. Or she doubts his love claims. So the first is a what? Is a noun. And the second, she doubts his love claims. It's a verb. We move on to adjective to noun conversion. It was an adjective describing a noun and then it is converted to a noun. Monthly, it's supposed to be an adjective, but you could convert it to be, for instance, oh, I have a monthly magazine you can also say, oh, I have a monthly. I have a monthly, meaning a magazine that comes up every month is now called a monthly. Have you seen this advert of Richard Mofe-Damijo? There was an advert where a lady brought something and said, sir, your 4 o'clock is here.
4 o'clock is here.
What did you think of that? That is an adjective to noun conversion, right? Let's move on. 3, noun to verb conversion. Let's use an example, cash. I have some cash. That's a noun. and it can change to a verb. Let's cash out, please. You have used it. The fourth type, adjective to verb conversion. The sea is calm. The sea is calm. That is an adjective describing the sea. Let him calm. Let him do something to his wife. Let him calm his wife. This is a verb. An adjective has changed to a verb. Are we together? This brings us to minor processes of word formation: reduplication, blending, clipping, and acronymy. Let's look at reduplication. Duplicates. I'm sure you know that. Duplicate is when something is double. Reduplication is forming words through repeating words. Reduplication could function like onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is imitating sounds, or it could just suggest alternative movements or intensity. For example, boom boom suggests intensity, right? Tick tock suggests sounds. Choo choo, chop chop, knock knock, okie dokie, and all of that. Pitter patter, wishy washy, ding dong. They are examples of reduplication. Next, we have clipping. What comes to your mind when you talk about clip? To clip, to prune, to chop off, to drop off, meaning that a part of the word is chopped off to form another word. For example, telephone. Have you ever heard the word phone? Of course, you might be listening to this with your phone. So tele has been dropped for phone. Influenza, in removed, enza removed, and flu becomes a word. Photograph, graph was chopped off for photo. Alligator, yes, you could call gator. You could call roach instead of cockroach. You could say net instead of internet. These are examples of clipping. We look at blending pepper. Okay, blend means to merge, right? To mix, meaning that a part of a word could mix up with a part of another word to form a new word. Interesting. The first example that comes to mind is brunch. Brr from breakfast and unch from lunch come together to form brunch, meaning you do not take it in the morning as breakfast, you don't take it in the afternoon as lunch, you take it in the middle, say around 12, and then that is your meal, combining the two or so. Or if you're eating in the afternoon and then you're saying, oh, this is my brunch, meaning you did not have any breakfast. Gleam and shimmer come together to form glimmer. That's really interesting. Let's move on to acronyms. The words could be pronounced as a sequence of letters or as words, but the main point is that the first letters of different words now combine to give a new concept. OAU, Obafemi Awolowo University. The first letters of these words have been acronymized, right? TV, television. NNPC, Nigerian National Petroleum Company. Then we have other words like a wall. Somebody could just say, oh, she's on a wall. What do we mean by that? She's absent without official leave. Let's attempt these questions to be sure of your understanding. I'd like you to have some fun with these questions. Please type your answers in the comment section, and I will see you next time. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel and please share with your friends. Now let's do something. If you have shared this particular video, if you have shared the link with your friends, just come in the comment section and say done. Or no, you say shared, right? Shared. Thank you.
Put these hands. Yeah. Yacht, right? Yeah. But what's the right pronunciation? Yacht. She said yacht. She said yacht. Who has a different pronunciation? You have one. Please capture that lady for me. Can you get up and project? Let me hear you from here.